It is the first day of 2023, January 1st to be exact, and it is the first episode of the new year, Staying Super with SimplySuperDave. Today is Sunday, so we have ended our week on our topic of unity. We ended it talking about you and your contribution to it all and how you can bring a little unity in our lives by respecting and loving one another. Kind of sounds simple, doesn't it? But it seems to be a message lost in the vast, connected internet world that we live in. The interweb, the connection that holds us all together now, huh? Seems like a lot depends on it now. And the more further into the future we go, the more dependent on this artificial intelligence that we will more invest our lives into, whether you want to or not. If you're going to keep up with things in progress, you got to keep up with the progress of the rest of the world. And it may not go at the speed you want it to go. And that's up to you how you want to live your life. And I fully endorse that. I think you should have those abilities, you know, if you want to stay behind a little bit, whatever. But if you're going to keep up, you got to keep up with what's there. And I've tried to do that in my life. And I know that I'm always going to be a little step behind in the game. But I do really rely on my foundations and the simple basics in life. Because everything that we evolve from comes from those basics. So, with that in mind, remember yesterday when I talked about how we are at home. The secret private person that we are compared to the person that we project once we go outside that door. Folks, today I want to make sure you understand that the goal of this whole podcast is to get you to question everything. Even if you disagree with every philosophy I have, the point is if I made you think about yours and make you dig a little bit deeper into your brain capacity there at some point, then I did my job. I did what I intended to do. And that's what I'm going to continue to do. And I'm going to use it by relying on things in my life that I've used to help better myself. Even examples of failures and things that I have yet to succeed on. I don't hold too much of a, what's the word for it? Pride. I have pride, don't get me wrong. I just don't have too much of it. Remember, there is an additive that I keep repeating throughout the podcast, and that is too much of anything is bad for you. And that even means the good things in life. Too much of it is bad for you. That's possible with money, too. I know what you're saying. There's never enough money. I know. That's a hard thing to go against. And it really is the consensus of what drives us apart today. But we'll get into that next week as I go after corporate America. Because we all know corporations are important. Business is very important. The movement of capital, money, it's important. But when does it overstep the line? When is too much of it overburden the way society is ran? Should corporate law know its boundaries and know where to work and where not to work? We'll get into that next week, of course. But today is the first day of the year, and 2023, I am really happy it's here. 2022 was a hard year for everybody. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care if you have any money in the bank or if you're just living paycheck to paycheck. You lost a good chunk of that free money that you would have over the year because last year was the year of the inflation. Oh my Lord, was it inflated everywhere. They keep talking about certain topics across the board. I want to know the general consensus why every freaking thing in the world went up. Bubblegum went up. Everything went up. Apple pot, everything went up. I don't mean to harp on Apple. I love Apple. I have an iPhone. So I endorse Apple actually because that's what I use. It would be stupid for me not to. But their excuse is the same excuse that the insurance companies tell you about your car insurance. It's just part of the inflation. It's part of the beast. Everything must go up because everything else went up. That seems like a pretty bullshit reason. Where's the faith in companies that want to have the lowest price to give you the best thing possible? To do the right thing for the right reasons? Huh? Where's that at? Where are you, America? It's 2023. Time to change things, right? Nah, same old shit, new year. That's the only difference. But you can make a difference. Like I said, that person inside the house. I think that we need to work on that person a little bit more. I know I do. I know I do. And I have vowed, I even took steps this morning to listen to my own resolutions for this year. And they're realistic ones. It's about accepting more of other people, to listen more, to be more understanding, even in a situation I feel victimized in. Because most of the time, our victimizations are based on what we think of the situation. So you only get one perspective. And even if you do feel victimized after you understand the other side of the perspective, maybe you just have some understanding period. Sometimes understanding helps you move past it, even though it's still a wrong. I know that's hard to comprehend. Everybody wants justice for everything, but life just is not fair. It never will be, no matter what you do. But you have the ability to look at it in a way that makes sense. Most life on this planet doesn't have that ability to look at something and go, well, I did something back in the day, I deserve that. Or I deserve this because I worked hard. I put a lot of effort. This is what got me to this point. I won the lottery because I deserve it. Yeah. Whatever you want to make up in your mind to make it all seem like a good storybook. That's great. It's not real, but it's great. Hate to burst that bubble for you. But that's the reason why the bubble's so important. Because we need it. We need something to keep us going, right? Whether or not you believe in my spirituality of energy and not so much of religion, doesn't mean I don't believe in religion. I just don't believe in it like you. I don't believe in it blindly. I use it as a tool, as I feel like it's been given to me, to learn from, to understand the history of us being here. The thing that connects us all, that seems to be repetitive all around the planet. So I don't doubt what religion's based on. I just doubt how religion is. Which is why I am a full believer in spirituality. The soul, the spirit. It is Sunday. And that thing that's inside of you, even when the door is closed and you're in the house, and you're not that positive, wonderful, best side of yourself when you walk out the door. That's the part I have been spending decades working on. And I think we all personally do, okay? When you're home alone, away from everything, nobody watching you. What is on your mind? What concerns you? What occupies your time? Is it stuff that you are invested in? Do you use that time to calm down, to unwind? Do you use that time to do other things? You have hobbies that just consume your mind and you can't find time to even rest. Then there's people, that's all they do is they come home, they go to sleep, and they get up and they go to work. They have no in-between time. That time has been invaded by so much outside stuff, outside the door. And I'm talking about that little apple of knowledge in your hand. And even if you have an Android, still an apple of knowledge. Don't fool yourself. Don't give me that roundabout argument. We're not in a court of law here. But anyway, even then now, that has been able to find a way in your front door. You can't take it off the hook. You can't just turn it off. We all need to be attached to it. Oh, it's a notification. What's that for? Oh, who's messaging you? Oh, what's going on? Hey, it's just endless. Endless. Like I said, though, it's a great thing to have. Look how easy life is. You don't even have to leave the house to find out if a store has something. You don't have to do any of that. You don't even have to buy anything by leaving your house anymore. Drastically different than it was 30-something years ago. Drastically different. In various ways that it was drastically different from the 90s to the 60s. And that's just how life works. But it doesn't mean anything bad's happening. But the internet age, to me, is the next big shift since the industrial age began. You had to have the industrial age to get to the internet age. It's just a step. What's next from here? I don't even know if that's even fathomable for the human race. I really don't. If it even is conceivably the human race in the future. It's crazy to think about. But that's futuristic sci-fi talk for down the road. What I'm talking about seriously, though, is that person inside the house. That person inside the house maintains who that person is outside of the house. But if the person inside of the house isn't happy and some sort of reflection of who you are outside of the house, at some point, everything will break. And then that's just not what we want, right? We can't have broken people inside the homes, but perfect outside the homes. You got to be fixed within your homes. That way you can go outside without a chip on your shoulder, without an agenda already on your mind that's been programmed into you because of your apple of knowledge or your TV. Think about it. Most people do walk outside the door already angry about something. They're looking for somebody. Democrats looking for conservative church-going people to chew out about their religion so they'll feel bad about themselves because they looked up something in the Bible and thought, oh, I'll say that to so-and-so. Or a conservative Republican going out and trampling on young liberal lives who want to progress life forward. We need both, by the way. You know that, right? We need people to be conservative enough to keep our values strong. We need people liberal enough to keep society forward and fixing the problems we've made in the past. There's a middle there, and that's how life works. There's too much of anything, there's too much of anything. You can be too much of a Democrat. You can be too much of a Republican. And when you are, you're just as detrimental as the enemy you're fighting. Think about that one. Think about that one. That's the reason why I always bring up the marathon metaphor. There you go. Because it's important to stay focused on where you're going. But it's also important to feed off of everything around you. It matters to hear someone cheering you on. Imagine if the internet was a marathon. You were there saying the things that you were typing to the people running past you. You're with your comments to their post. Would you publicly stand around a bunch of other people shouting rude, mean, derogatory things to them? Probably not. So the internet world is way vastly different than the real world is. No matter what people try to say or tell you, before you think I'm not programmed when I walk out that door, I am programmed when I walked out that door. But unless you realize that you are, you can never fix what's inside your house. It's your bubble. You control what comes in your bubble. You control what goes out of your bubble. It's a new year, folks. And it's going to have new changes and new ways and all kinds of new bullshit for us to go through to make it another memorable year. My question is to you. Are you going to go out there, spread a little love and laughter? Are you going to continue going out and spreading the programmed hate and fear they want you to have. It's your life. It's your moment. It's the past. It's the future. It's all right here. In this moment, no matter when you're listening to this, the moment is live in your hands right there before you. I'm not asking for anybody to ever revolt and turn the world around. Look, change doesn't happen overnight, but it starts with the person in the mirror. Be proud of that person and own everything that person does. Don't deny anything, mistakes and accomplishments. Own them both. And this year will be tremendous for you, I promise. Get out there, folks. Love and laughter. Spread it throughout. Spread the message. Conquer the hate and fear. And as always, think about it.